Hey guys, in this video I want to show you how I typically make my MIDI files playable on GBStudio. Before I start though, I want to give a quick note that I'm a total beginner, can't read music notes, and there are probably better ways on how to do that. Nevertheless, I hope you can find some use in this. Okay, here we have OpenMPD. I already loaded up a suitable and rather simple MIDI file to demonstrate the process. The MIDI file is segmented into so-called patterns, and the different instruments are labeled as channels. You can also see that each pattern is made up of 128 tick numbers. Before we can truly begin, I need to show you some of the most important things I will be doing in this editor. First off, starting and pausing a track. Replaying the pattern is done by just going out and back into the pattern selection. I can also just choose to play the entire row. This becomes important if I need to adjust notes. You can adjust notes by clicking a note and then using Ctrl and Q to increase the pitch or Ctrl and A to decrease it accordingly. The typical home office shortcuts like copy and paste, undo and redo all work fine in this editor. You can also mark them and drag them around. Lastly, you can find or replace notes via Ctrl and F. Let's head over to View and then to Setup, where I can show you some of the most important key bindings that I personally use. Over at the keyboard section you can see that for play song and pause song I'm using the spacebar because for me it's the most convenient. Playing a row is also important. Just use key bindings you personally find most comfortable to work with. If you use a custom keybind for playing a row, you should also see that pause song also receives a keybind you can use whenever you play rows and want to pause it. Now, here's the song we are going to make GBStudio able. You can immediately make out that channel 7 is the most suitable for the main melody, while channel 1 to 3 are kinda doing their thing in the background. It's important that you have the limitations of GBStudio in mind while you do it. The documentation is lengthy, but I guess that's why you are here, to see me doing this, right? Okay, first off, let's see what GBStudio actually is capable of in terms of its use of channels. Channels 1 and 2 are used for the melody and have a pretty wide range of accepted volumes. Meanwhile, channel 3, though also accepting the same note range as channel 1 and 2, can only effectively use a very modest volume range. Let's not talk about channel 4 until the very end, okay? Let's go back to the MIDI. Following the MIDI, we now effectively have 3 different instruments playing, the main one being 7, the side one being 8, and the cluster 1, 2, 3 for the backline. See the drums in action? Ignore those. We would need to recreate the drums ourselves. Okay, now that we have an idea on how the song is going to be, let's assemble ourselves the 3 primary channels that GBStudio is going to use. We only have one channel to use for the back line, so now we have to find the channel that's actually setting the tone. Try singling them out by muting the others. If you found the backline progression that you are looking for, have them occupy a single channel. There's also a refrain that's coming up, and I want to include it in one of my channels. As you can see, we occupy different channels. Luckily, our first channel isn't outputting anything, so we can essentially use the channel for the refrain. Let's drag the line into the channel. Be sure to have selected the entire line. Check with selection at the bottom right for the number 128, just to be sure. See the side note hanging somewhere else? If it doesn't make a difference, just drag it in. If it does make a difference, find the most fitting note to copy in and leave the supplementary note out. In this case, I can just drag it in, because there's a pause in there. After adjusting channel 3, we should have 3 fully working channels that we can copy over. However, there's one thing that I've glossed over. It's the music range. Let's go over the documentation once more. Here we can see that it specifies a note range of between C3 and B8. Because I can't read notes, I got myself this handy sheet over here. As you can see, we can't use notes that has either a number 2 or a number 9 after the letter. Checking back to the MIDI file, we can see that the second channel of ours does use rather deep notes with a number 2 before the letter. We have two choices now: use a different note that also fits the bill, or increase the note by one number. Let's check the first attempt by only correcting the notes that needed, and leave everything else the same. It sounds really stale, isn't it? Let's do it differently then, and increase the number for that entire segment. That sounds different from the original, but still very good. I like it. Let's port it over then. For that, we need the template music file of GBStudio that comes with every project. Be sure to make a copy so you don't accidentally overwrite the template. Also be sure not to open it that way. Open up a new OpenMPD so you can have these two side by side.